there was a problem in the early 90s to try to make the most use of, colliders that were under construction. And in particular, I happen to be in an office at CERN right now, which is the home to the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. And this collider is a very complicated environment to try to learn the secrets of nature. It collides protons that are made up out of quarks and gluons, which interact with each other through a force called the strong force, or particle theorists call it QCD, which stands for quantum chromodynamics. And chromo refers to the colors of the quarks and the gluons, which are exchanged in these collisions. It was a big problem when we got started to calculate processes in these in QCD beyond the leading order in some parameter which we call the strong coupling. And in other words, we could not get very precise predictions to allow the experimentalists to compare the results of their experiments with the theory. And that was a problem. And it really needed to be fixed in order that the LHC could eventually discover the Higgs boson and search for new physics of other types. And there was an important principle in there, which had been recognized as a property of amplitudes for a long time, which is called unitarity, or probability conservation. And we were able to turn it into a tool for doing higher order calculations, both for processes at the LHC with many, many external particles produced, and also in simpler processes and in simpler theories. So all of these computations have revealed a lot of mathematical richness and new physical insights into the principles that explain how particles scatter off each other, as well as precise predictions. And this prize, I think, is a recognition of the efforts of many people, both those who came before us and saw how to organize the lowest order results, to all the people who are sort of implementing these ideas to make precise predictions for the LHC and exploring other formal properties of scattering amplitudes. So I wanted to say a few things for younger people out here who might be getting interested in science. And I also was thinking about some kind of connections to Galileo that I had earlier. My father helped design the first spacecraft to go to Jupiter. So when I was a kid, about 10 years old, and I got a small telescope, I pointed it at Jupiter. And I saw the so-called Galilean satellites, which Galileo found over 400 years ago. And I plotted them and watched their sinusoidal behavior as they went across. And so it's kind of, I don't know, quite fitting that I'm connected with Galileo somehow again, although I'm still very humbled by that connection. But I really want to say that that kind of curiosity is what you need to follow, and you need to explore the things that interest you the most and not necessarily follow fads or do what everybody else is doing. I changed fields when I started into this area from string theory to QCD, and some people questioned that change, and we were working by ourselves for a while, so it took a little bit of persistence, but we saw some things happening in the area we were interested in, and that motivated us to keep going. So I would like to say, just try to look at the things that you're doing as you get into science, and do the thing that you really love and try to stick with that as best you can.